Marianne. And Caroline, how are you? Good.
Oh, don't you look so pretty in pink, Miss Pamela?
Yay. I'm just telling everybody, message all your peeps.
Yep.
I'm doing that myself.
I got you on my big screen. I should show you what you look like on my big screen.
Oh boy, I bet that's fabulous.
You'll be impressed, really. It's a really big screen.
Oh boy. Can't hide anything, huh?
Nope.
Okay, here we go. Publish. Afterward, if you have a minute, Marianne, I want to chat with you.
Okay.
Got a funny thing to share. And the private page.
I have
Oh boy.
Heritage Makers Cup with Ken and I on there. Can you see it?
I do.
And here's what it says. It doesn't matter where you go in life, what you do, or how much you have. It's who you have beside you.
Oh, that's true.
It's true. All right.
Still posting.
All right.
Welcome, Esther. She was with us on the radio show.
Oh, yeah, last night.
Yeah. Miss Peggy Gleason, I didn't get to talk with you today. Love you, girlfriend.
Hey, Pam.
Hey, Esther. How are you, honey?
Doing good.
Hi, Peggy. Love you.
All right, taking everybody off my... Hello.
Did you co-host me?
Co-host you.
Oh, there, I can hear you now.
There we go. Love you.
Oh, yeah? Did you have your volume down?
I had it off, actually.
So funny.
How are you guys today?
Busy.
Wonderful.
Good.
All right. Hey, Caroline. We got Ozzy on.
Pamela, you were not busy. You were productive.
I was. I had
Productive.
a new CEO on the team today.
Oh, yay!
What'd you do? What'd you
A
say?
new CEO on the team today and a new bundle on Glenda's team.
Nice.
That is so awesome. Oh, gosh, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I am so excited. This is our year. This is our time. We're going to bust it out, right?
That's it.
Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Linda McCormick, how are you?
Where is she? Oh,
There she is.
there she is.
Yeah. And we have Tom. I see Tom's coming up already. And we have a 541 and a 605 area code. I don't know who those are.
Hmm.
Sticky notes.
605 is South Dakota. This is Doug Linder.
Hey, Doug. Glad to have you.
Very good. Fighting this blizzard up in Minnesota.
How much have you gotten? How much snow?
You what?
How much snow did you get? The depth?
Oh, about 4 inches, but the wind's howling, and it's about, with the wind chill, it's about 40 below.
Oof.
It's cold.
Yeah, I would say that's a little bit chilly. Here in Florida, we get cold when it's 40 above. We're wimpy.
I'll trade you.
No, this is my choice. You can come down here, but no trades.
We were laughing about you guys had sweatshirts on or something in a picture, and we're thinking, oh, in Colorado, that's short weather, shorts and, short sleeves and shorts.
And we're all bundled up.
And you guys
Jeff
are bundled up.
Barasa, it's you and I going at it for the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Oh, it looks like Tom's on here, but we don't see the camera.
No. Maybe he's got on purpose. So, Jeff, you gonna let the Rams have a win? Wait, he can't. Hold on. Let me unmute you.
Oh.
There you go. You're unmuted now, honey.
Not going to happen.
Yes. Rams. Go, go, go.
98.6 in Melbourne. Oh, my goodness. Where's Tom? I still can't see him on the cam. Tom, we cannot see you. Oh,
There
there
he
you
is.
go.
Open your eyes, baby.
Oh,
Open your eyes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
You should see how big I am on this screen. This TV is like the size of a house.
Is it better like this?
It's pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, Caroline. Go Rams.
Okay, so anybody that didn't see my radio show just now, go watch the replay on the Tom Chenault Show Facebook page. The only reason I want you to do that is because it's very important that you have your taxes paid, your bookkeeping system set up. Paul Crotto hit the nail on the head. And thank you very much, Johnny Boy. Oh, God, you guys. Marianne, you want to tell him what just happened and I ran out the door? You guys
He's
have
like
no idea.
waving at me, going like this, and he's like pointing at my desk, and I walk in and my entire desk is completely flooded with coffee.
I rolled a complete and total cup of coffee across her, completely covered with paperwork and
No.
oh yeah, I think I probably drowned it about 14 bonbons, 2 dishes of Haagen-Dazs, a Big Mac and an order of fries, and a Pizza Hut pizza. But it
Or
was
like
a terrible
my
train wreck.
international contact folder and my journal.
It was worse. It was worth. I am so sorry. And I was on with. I am on the board of directors for the ANMP, which is the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. So there's a company out there called LifeVantage, and the president of that company called me on the phone to try to raise the level of integrity in network marketing, and wanted to know if he could come on my show, and also wanted to come down to the ANMP and sponsor it. So I'm in this call that's kind of important, and I'm paying attention, and I'm in Marianne's office, and 2 rats and a mouse ran by, and it scared me, and I rolled a cup of coffee. So that didn't really happen, but that's what I'm going to say happened.
Well, you better talk to the landlord of that building.
What's that?
You better talk to the landlord of that building.
Yeah, if we have infestation here. And we
So
already.
something's wrong with this thing that won't let me.
What?
Oh, I did it. Okay, good. Now I can see all of you. I was pushing the wrong button. Ruth Allen Sanchez, it was really, really great to see you. Ann Parker was standing on her head. That was pretty cool. Hello, Daniel Hodge, Kate Carpenter, love you all the way from Australia. Linda McCormick, I just want to acknowledge you for being a master of follow-up, an incredible woman, an incredible CBD person. I mean, if anybody, and I said it on the Hair on Fire call this morning or some call I was on, if anybody wants to know how to get the CBD out and sample it, it is Linda McCormick. She is a rock star in her own right, and everybody needs to know her. So anyway, go into that. But I want to talk tonight pretty hard about level of follow-up, because I am turning in, you already know that I'm an Uber machine. And I did a Facebook Live the other day about Uber drivers and Lyft drivers and the fact that they are entrepreneurs on their feet. I mean, those people are entrepreneurs. They're trying to they've got something going on that they don't want a job, but they need money, so they're driving an Uber car. That's what they're doing. And the people in the back seat are the same way. They're like me, they're like you. You guys are entrepreneurs. You're hopping Uber to get here and there. And so it's the perfect storm. And nothing makes me crazier than an Uber driver not talking to me. I am the interviewer always on Uber. So now I'm telling the Uber drivers that. And you guys could do that too. I tell them about the app. So I want to show you the email This is Dylan. Give me 1 sec. Dylan Kane, 25 years old. He lives down in Texas. He lives in Colorado. He's from Texas. His parents own a ranch. He was a professional baseball player wannabe. He went to Concordia College down in Texas, and he figured out that he wants to teach snowboarding. He wants to be a personal trainer. He's not bad to look at, and a real Christian kid. His dad was a sheriff down there, and this kid wants to coach baseball in Puerto Rico, and he doesn't have any kind of idea on how to fund it. And I said, well, you need to fund your dreams. If you want to get to Puerto Rico, you got to figure out an income stream that's going to pay that. I can help you with that, but you also have to have connections. And you have got every connection you need to get to wherever you want to go in your life, riding in your backseat all the time. You just have to ask the questions of that. So I told Dylan, I said, here, what do you want? What do you want out of your life? And I'm like, control on the conversation in the Uber. And he said, man, I just want to, baseball's my passion. I want to help those kids. And I said, done. I will help you. So I called Bob Bodine, from the guy that wrote Power of Who. He's also on the board of directors of the Texas Rangers. I said, Bob, I need a personal favor. If I were to ask Peggy Gleason, can you do a personal favor for me? She'd say yes. If I were to ask Caroline Powell, she would say yes. She'd go, yes. You can't tell me no. I wouldn't tell you no. Jeff Barassa, you're the only one because of that damn Brady. I might tell you no. But at the end of the day, I can't stand Brady. He's just too good. It's embarrassing. So here's Dylan Kane. Vivid priorities. Tom, so my app calls up, says follow up. Barbara Stallings. Follow up. Where's my girl? No. Diana Harper, I love you. Follow up. Linda McCormick, big follow up girl. Anyway, on there, it said call Dylan Kane today. So I called Dylan Kane because the app told me to call him. He said, what do you think? He said, Tom, I can't stop thinking about you when you were in my car. Do you really know that guy from the Texas Rangers? I said, yeah, I'll call him. So I called up Bob Bodine. I said, would you do a 5-minute conversation as a favor to me? He said, I'd do a 2-hour conversation as a favor to you, Tom. So I hooked him up. So Dylan just said, Tom, thank you for hooking me up on this conversation. Can I come down to Longmont and talk to you about what you were talking about as far as building residual income so I can follow my dreams? You're the first guy that really ever understood what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't understand what he wanted to do with his life. I understood that he had a dream and I wanted to jump into his dream. Does that make sense to you? You guys want to be blown away real quick? Should I prove this to you even more? You guys saw that Emilio yesterday. And now in 65 days and a wake up, and those of you that aren't in 65 days and a wake up, you're going to hell. But here's the other part of it. For sure, that was supposed to be a joke. Nobody's face is moving. That's terrible. That was a joke, especially for those really great, the terrible joke. Anyway, even if you're in there, read people's posts and send them a nice note. It takes unbelief. Thank you, Peggy. You're always doing it. Thank you, Esther. You are a complete and total rock star follow-up girl at the same level as a Linda McCormick. I love you. But so anyway, this kid, I meet him yesterday. He is 24 years old, full-time network marketer, father of an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. 24, 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Met a girl. They had a baby at age 15. Now they've got 2 kids. They're 24 years old. She's working at a fast food restaurant. This kid is working at network marketing. He's trying everything in the world to figure out how to make it float. He can't do it. He's having a hell of a time. Jenna, I saw you come by here tonight and pick up that check for your little boy. He called me. But I want to call Emilio. Would you guys like that? You think that makes sense? This is like, let's call somebody. This is a lead, a follow-up lead.
LCS.
Okay, LCS, is that okay with you? I'll call him. This kid makes me cry. Can you imagine a 15-year-old not having an abortion? Can you imagine a 15-year-old now being 24 years old and he and his wife are still together, he and the girlfriend are still together, great, raising these kids? 15, now 24. This kid's going to be 30 and they're going to be in college. It's unbelievable. I'm so jealous of him. It's unbelievable. My kids are still, I'm still breastfeeding Adrian. He's only, So at the end of the day here, what am I doing here? I'm calling Emilio. Emilio Soto. And don't friend him up on Facebook. I put his name up there, and I bet he got 40 friend requests today. It's the Howler Monkey shirt. Can you hear it ringing? Can you hear?
Yes.
Come on, Emilio. Come on, Emilio. Come
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Emilio, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. How about you?
I'm doing great. Now, Emilio, full transparency, you are on a call with about 30 of my closest friends. And
Okay.
I want you to tell everybody what happened between you and I in the last 24 hours. From your mouth, you didn't know I was going to make this call. But I'm trying to prove to these people how important it is to do that coffee shop interview that you heard about for the first time yesterday. Right. So just tell everybody about where our relationship has gone in 24 hours.
Okay. So, straight off the cuff, like this, I'm completely shocked that I'm on this call. But from literally just about 24 hours, I had no idea exactly. Me and Tom did not even have we didn't really have a relationship until about the last 24 hours. And honestly, from just him taking that time and actually sitting there asking me all those questions, I feel like I've known him my entire life. And he knows a lot more about who I am, and I have like a genuine connection. Like I could feel like I could trust Tom with anything, and he would protect it with his life. That's literally how I felt just from that first call. That was last night. It was probably around, I want to say, in the night. It was a night call. It was probably like around 9 Eastern Standard Time. And then after that, he gave me some homework. Literally just gave me some homework to go and check out the coffee shop interview. He told me to read it 5 times, and he gave me an option. He said, after you read it 5 times, you can either call me again tonight, or you call me tomorrow. And immediately once he said that, either call me back tonight or tomorrow, I was like, okay, I gotta call him. I gotta do it. Because one, he definitely has way more results than I have. So I'm not even going to question it. Obviously, whatever he's telling me to do, it's for a reason, and it's a good reason. So I'm just going to listen, and I'm not going to even question it. And secondly, he gave me homework. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going without actually doing the homework. For that, I just wasted all of his time that he didn't have to invest with me. I didn't pay anything for it. And, like, I didn't even expect him to call me back. So with that being said, I had to do the homework. That's pretty much the gist of everything that happened. Did I cover everything that you wanted me to talk about, Tom?
Okay, so I told these people that you were 24 years old, that you had an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, that your wife works at a fast food restaurant, that your dreams in your life are to walk on the beach with your wife and your kids, which is 3 hours away right now. But you are, and you love to watch TV with your wife. Your mom's ill. Your dad's in New York City. You've got siblings in your city, but you 2 kids have basically forged a life. And your wife was so great because you were going to go sell cars And she said, no, honey, you are committed to this network marketing. I'm committed to helping you fight it out, and we're going to do that. Is that right?
That is totally correct, 100%.
And he just said we had an unbelievable conversation. And why we had an unbelievable conversation, in Emilio's opinion, do you know why we did, everybody? Was because all we did was talk about Emilio. He loved it because all we did was talk about Emilio. And Emilio, at the very beginning of the conversation with me, Emilio said, I've been doing all these seminars and going to all this crazy stuff and following all these mentors, but I have yet to execute because I don't really know how to take it to the next level. And basically, I tried to prove to him to dump the script, fire his brain, hire his heart, and do that. So today, I called him back on the phone, and I said, Emilio. And he had done all of his background work on me, and it was as cute as a button, because he said, you used to be a stockbroker, and you used to be, and he was just being interested in my life, where I was telling him about being a drunken airplane salesman and a stockbroker and all that stuff, because he paid attention to my life. And he flipped it on me, and he wound me up and said, start talking, Tom. And I started talking, it didn't stop. So he's becoming a contact mapper and a copy shop interviewer, just like me. Now, I don't know that Emilio is ever going to join my company. I don't know that. I have no idea whatsoever. I don't give a darn. What I give a darn about is the fact that I helped this young man and his wife hit his dreams of getting started toward his goal of making $100,000 a month. I mean, a month, that's his goal, his long-term goal. That's his goal. Now, every one of you guys, you're living your life to try to find one person that you enroll that makes $100,000 a month. And I told him about my upline, because when I met my upline, she was working not even as an assistant manager. Cheryl Morley just worked at the Taco Bell. Now she could buy one. You don't have to be successful to find a Tom Chenault. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Ruth Ellen. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Laura. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Peggy and Diana and Luann and Angie. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Jenna. Just be interested. And when they tell you they've got that goal, put the target right in the center of their head and say, you and I are going to be partners for life, whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you, and what did I tell you last night? Or it might have been today. I know what I told you. I said, what's going to happen in a couple of years when you look back on January 28th of 2019, and people all look at you, Emilio, and they say, man alive, what was the turning point in your life? And you're going to look at that and say, you know, that's funny. I called a really successful guy on the phone, and he called me back. His name was Tom Chenault. And he launched me out of my head into my heart, and the rest is history. And that's what happened. And that's what you're going to be telling people in 5 years, Emilio, because I'm positive no matter what company you're in, you're going to be that success because you've got that gift of desperation you and I talked about. But every one of us have to do that. Am I right or am I wrong?
Totally right.
Well,
Absolutely right. 100%.
What state do you live in?
I live in South Carolina.
Okay, good. I have no idea where that is, but it's got to be close to North Carolina. I love you with all of my heart. I'm going to North Carolina. Somebody tell me when I'm coming. I love you. It's going to be soon, and I will come and find you, Emilio. We'll go take your wife and your two beautiful children out to dinner, and you're a great kid. And I'm sorry for the impromptu call, but you've been on my heart all day long.
No, it's actually perfectly fine. Caught me by surprise, but I wasn't doing anything. I was actually just prepping some stuff for the kids, so it was all good. Love you too. I can't wait. It's definitely going to be awesome.
All right, baby. See you later. Good night. Call me after a while. I'll give you more homework. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Is that just the coolest? No rush. He's in Modere, which is another network marketing company. What's going to happen to him in a couple of days when he's frustrated with Modere? He's going to go, why am I doing this? Why don't I jump in the foxhole? Why don't I call Tom Chenault and see who he's got in South Carolina that can mentor me. That's what he's going to say. That's what he's going to say. And that's what, I mean, you guys, if you stop trying to grab him by the throat, that's a relationship one day old. And he said, I think I've known him all my life. Does that make sense to you? Was that worth your time, I hope? Sure was worth mine. Good, good, good. And now, I'm trying to be a Linda McCormick. I'm trying to be an Esther Irie. I am posting, and it's dangerous, obviously, because as soon as this kid joins us, I'm going to have to pull his contact map out so he doesn't realize I put his contact map up in 65 Days in a Wake Up. But I'm going to start showing you guys that stuff. I'm going to figure out how to maybe cross the last name off so there is no danger of that. But, you know, that follow-up is the key. And as I look at my app right now, that was Dylan Kane. It says no follow-ups due today. And then it also at the top says 0 of 2 contacts mapped to today. So unlogged, Kim McKenzie, great girl. She's brand new too. She lives in Virginia, close to Cheryl Morley, and came out of the sky blue also. Has this whole story about mentors that they're going to leave her behind. She needs a mentor that's not going to leave her behind. She was with all the hot shots, and she can't understand why the hot shots aren't paying attention to her. But, oh, good. Adrian just told me. Adrian's watching. I thought he was on a big call with the CBD people, and there he is down there in the corner. So he's not only going to show me how to do that, he's going to show you how to do that. So I can post these screens of the people on the contact mapping, because I want to develop that muscle for you. Because believe it or not, I know if you're using the app or not. And I want to make sure you're using it. And I said this earlier on the Hair on Fire call this morning. If you're not using it, I want to know why. I want to know if it's $10 a month is too much. I want to know if it doesn't work. I want to know, you know, if you're like Rick Manelius, or if you're like Ryan Enright, neither of whom are on here. You know, they get stuck on, all of a sudden they walk in there and they've got 30 follow-ups and they're going, I'm overwhelmed, I stopped. And you know you can't. You've got to knock them out. But once you realize that you're behind, and I've had that happen to me before, where I woke up with a bunch of follow-ups and I had to stand and look at the follow-ups and say, okay, how many of these follow-ups are money-making activities and how many aren't? And that's going to gauge how far I'm going to move these together, because I've got to make money right now. I've got to do that right this second. And I'll tell you guys something. Lorraine, you're going to be happy about this. You're the only one. Oh, Mariana, you'll be happy. Pamela, you should be, but you're not. You're not going to be. But let's see where we are here.
Uh-oh.
No, it's no problem. Okay, so right there is my speed dialer. So if you look at my speed dialer right there, Ann Parker, you're going to be happy. You can see I see who I work for. It's that simple. I know who pays me. And while it's fun for me to work on my 30th or 40th or, you know, level, and I've got, you know, you're in Louis Arias's organization, or Scott Parduis's organization, or Corey's organization. I know you've got all these 5 stars in between, and I know they're also being paid on taking care of that. Barbara Stallings, if $9.99 is an issue for you, you call me on the phone. I'll pay for a couple of months until we get you caught up if you'll use it with integrity. I am not letting money stop you. So we'll set that up today. So no one on here is left behind. If $10 a month is an issue, we're going to solve that. And I never, ever, ever want any of you having $9.99 be an issue in your life again. I never want $99.99 being an issue in your life again. I never want $999.99 to be an issue for you again. I want $9,999.99 to be something you can do. This morning we woke up, Marianne said, Tom, you're a little overdrawn in your checking account. I said, really? I'm going to go take a look. I thought she was talking about nickels and dimes. I was $21,000 overdrawn. I about swallowed my cigar. Is that right or wrong, Marianne? Stick your thumb up. And I thought she's going, because she kept bugging me. She kept going, Tom, have you checked your checking account? Because she's got this big master page. And I'm going, what the heck? But what happened is I promised somebody some money and I didn't think, so anyway, they had a check, but I didn't think they were going to cash it right now. So they cashed it right now. And it threw me overdrawn, which can happen to anybody. But for me, because we all have problems like that at different levels, but for me, and Marianne will tell you, I just hit 2 buttons and all of a sudden I had money in the account again because I had money. Because I never want to have that be an issue for any of you. Any of you. And I know, you guys know, you've heard Denise's speech. Where's Denise? Is she on here? She's not? This is the perfect time for her speech.
Text your people? Didn't you text your people to be on the call?
Oh, burn.
Oh, burn.
Did that really just happen? Did you see Ann Parker?
Hey, LCS Denise.
Denise.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good idea.
She's going to want to go to.
You were going to be sleeping on the couch tonight.
And I invite her to Misfit Tuesday, too.
Yeah.
Misfit Tuesday, everybody. If you come to Longmont on Tuesday night, it's Misfit Hamburgers at Five Guys. And everybody else has shakes. And
Hello?
you are on my list. I was talking to you on this Zoom, and you aren't on here.
Oh, shit. You know what?
What?
I completely forgot about
Well, get on there because we have to tell people. I was just talking, somebody was just talking about $9.99 being some money. And
Wait, hold on. Let me.
yeah, get on there because I want to talk about how much money you had in your checking account that day. You told me to talk fast.
I got so involved in my presentation.
Late plus a good excuse does not equal on time. So, see, you guys are, Lanny Sharp, I take everybody to the woodshed, baby. So, at the end of the day, she's coming on right now and she can tell you the story because when my father-in-law, and I want you guys to know this because this is important stuff and it's important to this call. When I first got sober, I had a Volkswagen and Adrian was a baby. And we had a Volkswagen Quantum station wagon, red, nice car, got repossessed. And I had a Porsche, got repossessed. Now we're down to 0 cars and we are freaking out. Everybody wants to kill me. The father-in-law, Adrian's grandfather, comes by and goes, Tom, you are such a loser. And I go, I know it. And he goes, go cash in Adrian. Oh, this is going to be a terrible revelation now that I think about it. So they go, Luke Angela goes, I bought those kids those savings bonds for their college educations. Go ahead and cash those in and buy yourself a car. And I looked at him and said, I'd like to do that, Lou, but I already cashed them in. And you could just see him putting that big loser right on my forehead. And the look of disgust was beyond belief. So he came over the next day and he said, I brought you a car, Tom. And he had that loser look on his face. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I walked around the corner and here was this 1981 Subaru that all the kids had been driving and they threw up in and it was a mess. And he said, you can drive this car. And I said, that car looked like a Rolls Royce to me. And I said, yeah, thanks a lot, Lou. I appreciate that. And the next day he came over to my house and he said, Tom, I talked to my accountant and I have to charge $1 for that car. And I swear to you guys through my brain, Barbara Stallings, and I am crying. I swear to you, and what flashed through my mind is where am I going to find $1? So if you don't think I know exactly the shoes you guys are walking in, you're out of your mind. And if you don't think upstairs, there's 2 homeless people upstairs in my office right now. And they're up there, not because I have such a big heart, because that was me. Those guys were me. Those guys upstairs were me. They're coming back from where I came back from. And they're also coming back from where I never want to go again. And I will never forget those people. And it's just like Jeff Barassa knows, man, my heart for people like that and people in that circumstance, there is nothing more important to me than that. And there's nothing more important to me than you. And I'll tell you one thing right now. I don't think money stops any of you, but I also know that money gets in the way on a lot of stuff. And my job is to teach you to fish. If I have to give you a fish, Barbara Stallings, for a few months here, that's wonderful. But by God, it's going to have a condition. And the condition is that you learn to fish. So long speech, but I think it was hopefully worth it. And it makes me sad for a lot of people suffering out there. And what Pamela went through, and her and her husband are financially set there. They've got, they are in 10 times the shape of 90% of those TSA workers. But that whole TSA thing, that whole government shutdown, ripped their faces off because nobody can live without their paychecks. So I love you guys, and sorry I got a little emotion there. Where's my wife? Honey, how are you? I had to kill a lot of time, so I told her a story. Go ahead.
Tommy, what are
What's
you
up?
doing crying?
Yeah.
That's why we love you.
So somebody talked about not having $10 for contact mapping, and I said, don't you ever be afraid to say that. And don't you ever be afraid to ask for help. And don't you ever, ever, ever think that's bad, because that is just a season if you're willing to put your spikes back on again. Tell them about you when this whole thing got rolling, when you met Mr. Wonderful.
Well, yes. We all have seasons, and I definitely had a season as well. And it was, as a single mom, divorced from my ex-husband, and I had a 4-year-old little boy, Dominic, and I had two things that were really, really important to me. One was my tiny little townhome that I had bought, and then the other thing was my son's school. And it was a private school. It was a Waldorf school. And his schooling meant so much to me that those were the two things. Those were the two bills that got paid at the start of every month. And everything else was a wild card. And, so I had gotten to the point where I didn't have cable TV. I had been, I don't want to say talked into, but because that kind of makes me sound like a victim, but it sounded like a great idea to take my car that was paid for, that was fairly old, and to sell it and to take that money and go and put it down on a brand new Honda. And so that's what I did. And after that money ran out, I had a car payment. And shortly after the car payment, I had that car repossessed. And so I was driving my grandmother's Volvo because she was in a nursing home. And I don't even know what year it was, but it was way old. The original color was burgundy, but it had sat in the sun so long it was like sort of orange, and but I was so grateful to be able to have a car, because my job at the time was I was on a 100% commission basis. I'm watching you, buddy. And watching the puppy out the side of my eye because he just had dinner. And so I was paid 100% commission, and I was selling shampoo to different hair salons within about 50 miles. And so that's what I had to drive every single day. So I was driving my grandmother's Volvo, and I was really good at budgeting. And to this day, one of Dominic's favorite meals is grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup, because that's what we ate a lot of. And I just, there were some weeks I had $10, $20 extra, in some weeks that there wasn't any extra. And at a certain point, Tom and I were very good friends. We were not dating in any way, but we were very good friends. And he would call up and say, where you're working today, and I'd be in Arvada or something. And he would say, I'll meet you for lunch. And the one thing is that, yeah, that would be hilarious, Tom. The one day he called up and I said, well, you better talk fast. And he said, why? And I said, because my phone may get turned off. And he said, well, how much is the phone bill? And I said, it's like $40. And he goes, well, it's Puppy Romper Room. I don't know what he's doing.
Right in the punchline of the story. This is the longest story in the history of story.
Sorry, I know, sorry. So he says, well, how much do you have in your checking account? And I had just balanced my checkbook, and it literally said 00.01. And I was so grateful that I wasn't overdrawn, because you know how that is. It's like, holy moly. And this was, 25 years ago. But, the overdraft charges would just kill you. And then they would stack up and stack up and stack up. And, oh, my gosh, before you knew it, you're $100 overdrawn. And so, so that's Tom. Tom said, well, let me help you with your phone bill. And, but, for me, that's why we talk about in network marketing. Like, for me, that car payment on that Honda was only $200 a month. And if I would have had an extra $200, $300, $500, $500 would have been like huge for me. And so that's why we're so adamant about creating 1,000,000 thousandaires, because an extra $1,000 a month would have literally been like life-saving to me. So, un momento.
Get out of here. You're making us crazy. I am so happy. I haven't been home in a week. Denise just looked at my travel schedule, and I'm going down to Florida to do 3 days with Pamela. I'm going to do an extra day and a half over in Miami, do the roaster. Then I'm going to go on the crazy tack trip. And then after that, I'm going to go to the Keys, the Florida Keys for a while. And then I'm going wait a couple days. Then I'm going to go on an open-ended trip down to Australia with Adrian to do longevity meetings and contact mapping meetings down there, which is all really good. And I look like a hero. And Denise told me I'm always trying to look like a hero. None of that is true. I am trying to get away from that dog. That is the only reason I am going. That dog is a nightmare.
I was like, I'll just come back
and dump in his little cage where he's supposed. Everybody talks about the cage. The crate's ridiculous. Linda McCormick. The dog thinks that's an outhouse. It is. We have a dog. We have a
opposite
dog.
Puppy training.
But at the end of the day, now I'm going down there and. Good deal, Kate Carpenter. I can hardly wait to meet you. You get to meet my little snot-nosed kid, and it's going to be great. So there's another guy that Adrian loves. Adrian's Prospect introduced me to him. He is a guy that we met at GoPro. He lives in Greeley, Colorado. He is in a company called Life Vantage. He hasn't done very well, but he doesn't want us to know that. He is a great guy. He called me today on another front. If that's Dylan Suggs, I love you. Make sure you guys get registered for Houston, and I need your help in Houston on man in the desk and all that. So I need to know your head count down there, boys. I'll even make you a special deal to go. That's the San Antonio boys. But if you guys want me to call this Dave Mack and watch again how I segue a conversation on Adrian's Prospect from, oh, good golly, Fred's coming. Good. Bring some people, Fred. I win a bet. If you bring more than 5 people, I win a lot of money. Anybody. So bring at least 6, Fred. I'll be rich. You guys want me to call Dave Mack? Does that help you when I call people and let you know? And every one of these conversations, have you guys noticed that? And if you want me to, I'll call that Kim, that other woman. I shouldn't be saying last names. That Kim, the lady in Virginia, and bring her full circle around the boat and actually enroll somebody here. I don't have any problem. And you wonder all the time, how do I have, after 30 years in the business, every prospect that I possibly know, how could I possibly have all these prospects in the pipeline that I can be calling all the time? Because I add 2 people to my contact map every day minimum. Ruth Ellen, get out of that house. I'm watching you. That's what we do. So I'll call this Dave Mack guy. Now, so you know, he called me today about a friend of his in Longmont. And so that's going to be my excuse for calling him back, that I'm not going to be here. And Bob Bodine, I'll tell Bob Bodine that. 2 Chairs is a heck of a book. I might have some autographed copies here for you, whoever, Diana Harper, I love you. Okay, I'm calling Dave Mack. And another thing, if you guys haven't guessed by now, there's nobody more ADD on this planet than me, probably. So all of you with your ADD excuses for not getting anything done, know that I'm the most ADD guy in the world. And I manage my ADD-ness with my contact mapping app. Denise and Adrian have kind of managed my ADD-ness with, in fact, my calendar pops up and tells me I have meetings all the time. And I'm going, holy mackerel, how did it do that? And Adrian and Denise and Rick cannot believe that anybody as successful as me, as old as me, is completely so much of a train wreck. But that just goes to show. God, Ashley, what are you making? Put that knife away, Ashley. You're going to hurt somebody.
Ashley scared me.
I know it. Unbelievable. That felt like a threat.
What were you saying, Adrian? Oh.
He goes in this meeting. The meeting this morning. He goes, it just like pops up when I'm supposed to go to a meeting. He's like crying. It was the
Here we go.
You've ever seen.
Hilarious. And when I think about somebody, I hit send, Daniel Hodge. No distance between you are. If I looked like you, Daniel Hodge, I'd be rich. You are the best looking guy. He's right here in the center of my screen. He's looking right at me. He just looks like Tom Cruise.
Hi, this is Dave. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hey, leave me a voicemail. I'll give you a call as quick as I can. Thanks. Goodbye.
Okay, here we go.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
Hey, David, it's Tom Chenault. Thanks for calling me a little while ago. I'm going to be in Houston Friday, but I've been thinking about you, and I just want you to know I have some extra money, and I want to give you, here's how much I want to give you. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Tom. Did you just try to call me?
Yep. See, he didn't hear he didn't hear how much money I want to give him. So what's going on, David? It's good to talk to you again. I'm going to be gone Friday.
Oh, well, I'm going to meet him for the very first time Friday, and we're going to just hash over where he's at. I don't know. Some doctors use the MELD score.
Yeah.
As somewhat of a gauge. I use the MELD score just to gauge my personal progress as much as my gastroenterologist used it. But I was going to show him how that works, and so at least he can track his own progress, and we'll talk about his liver function. And basically, I just want just let him talk and tell his story.
All right, that's a winner. Hey, Marianne, hang on a second. Marianne's in the other office. Would you grab me a copy of 2 Chairs? I know there's one around. I want people to see it. So, David, I love you, and I can't stop thinking about you and your heart for people. And I think about your business, and I want to spend more time with you. So once you get this guy under your wing a little bit, let's sit down next week. Let's talk about him, but I also want to make sure you leave enough time for you and I to sit down and have a serious talk about you, your life, your business, and how I can help you take it to the next level so you can really make a difference on this planet.
Boy, I'll tell you, Tom, that sounds nothing but great. I've got travel arrangements to Charleston next week, and I'll have to check my agenda. I'll text you what it looks like for next week. I know if you're traveling, I've got some travel arrangements also next week. We'll head heads here pretty quick, but that sounds just absolutely wonderful, Tom.
All right.
That is such a gracious offer.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do that. You are in my sights. Adrian loves you. I love you. We've got to change the world. So let's just figure out a way to figure a synergistic path to you making the kind of money you deserve. People with hearts like yours, you deserve to be not only spiritually rich, where I know you are, but financially rich, and I think I can help you get there from there. So let's do that, okay?
Great, Tom.
All right.
Great, Tom. That's just like I say, a very extremely generous offer, and I will take advantage of that. So I'll be in touch with you via text through your travels and my travels, and we'll head to real quick. Let me. KJ is who I'm talking about, and his father just passed away. The service is Saturday. The viewing is Friday, so I'm not sure if Friday's going to work for him, and I haven't contacted him yet.
All right, you let me know, and I'm here. And if you get him tonight or tomorrow, that's more important to me than anything. So helping him is top of my list. Even if you're still in Greeley, I can go run him down. So if he calls looking for help, you call me, okay?
Okay, absolutely, Tom.
All right, love you, man.
That is absolutely wonderful.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Bye.
Okay, so you guys, there's a game called Less. Okay, so that went as far as it could. So when we have a powerful conversation, I'm going to prove to him that he deserves to be a partner with us, and he's going to go farther being a partner with us in longevity than in the company he's in now. That will, I'm going to call Bob Bodine. I'm seeing all these people that want 2 Chairs book. I'll call Bodine. I'll get a case of them, have him sign them all, and we'll be dancing. So, yeah, so you guys can save your fingers. So real, here's the deal. And Adrian read it. And, basically the premise is get up in the morning, sit in one chair, leave the empty chair over there. Imagine whoever you're, Jesus, for want of a better word. Yeah, there's one in Adrian's office. Is that one autographed? What's it say? Dear Tom, would you please find a spiritual walk in your life? You are going straight to what? No, it doesn't say that. You guys leave me weak. That is so funny. Never know what it could have said. But
he sent you 3 autographed books. He must be worried that you're not actually reading the book.
That's what you want. That's when no. Do you know why he did that? Denise will tell you. For each one of my personalities. Okay, so on my radio show, I needed a phone number today. And do you guys all know who Les Brown is? You guys know who Les Brown is. Les Brown's the greatest. Les Brown is unbelievable. And I said, gee, Minnie, Christmas, man, I'd like to have Les Brown on my show. I don't have his phone number. So I got his number from Courtney Epps. I got his number from Eric Worre, and I got his number from Marianne Niehaus. Right? So most people get that number and they do nothing with it. But you know what? There's no day like today.
Special. You have greatness in you. You are a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. That's what I'm talking about. Leave a message for me and I'll get back to you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Les Brown. Hope you're doing great. I want you on my radio show again. Tom Chenault. Eric just sent me your number, as did Courtney Epps. She's speaking at your event right now, I guess. and I just had her on my show, and you are a beast, my friend, and I had forgotten about you, and your phone number wasn't even in my book anymore. Eric sent me to it. So did Courtney Epps. So did Marianne Niehaus. I will never forget the day I was on the phone with you, and I mentioned my friend Jerry Kirby, who loves you more than air in his lungs. And I told you that story, and you said, you know what we should do? And I said, what? And you said, let's call him right now. And we called Jerry Kirby that day on the phone, and he literally started crying, and you made a difference in his life. So hopefully that refreshed your memory. I'm no big deal. I probably can't even remember who I am, but I remember who I am, and I certainly know who you are. So whatever you do, call me back. 720-840-7222. Bye. Who could not take that bait? What happened? How come no? Oh, because I'm not the only one talking. That's so funny. Hello. Oh, man, alive. Daniel Hodge found a leprechaun. Look at that little tiny kid. What's that kid's name? Oh, man, oh, man. That's what I love about this job, is every day is take your children to work day. And I'll never forget Adrian and Courtney, going back to Barbara Stallings and Denise's story about what was going on with her. The kids, every day was that. And getting Adrian to take money from me, there they are on the main screen. Are they unmuted? Daniel, who is that young girl?
Hang on, I'm trying.
Daniel, who is that kid?
That's Serenity.
Serenity?
She's gone to every convention for the last 3 years.
Cutest little boy I've ever seen in my life, but he needs a haircut. That's a joke, Serenity. Love you, kid. Good to see you again. And your mom and dad are extraordinary. And getting Adrian to take money from me, or Courtney or Dominic, they don't ask me for money ever, because every day was take your kids to work day. And they saw how hard Denise and I worked for money. And they saw the struggle, they saw the wins, they saw the losses. They looked out the window and saw the car getting, with me. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Courtney, the little 4-year-old, walked in one day and said, Daddy, what's wrong with the car? And I go, nothing. She goes, well, why are they taking it away on that trailer out there? And I looked out the window, I go, holy mackerel, we are so dead. I said, we hated that car, Courtney. That car was horrible, because I had to say something. And I went and bought a beater BMW, and that's that little red car that's out in front of the building right now, a little 2002. I bought it for $1,300, and we brought it home, but all the paint was painted on it, and the seats. I put the kids in the back seat, and I'll never forget, Adrian's on here right now, and he jumped back in the back, and the seats just crumbled around him, and he looked at me and went, oh, Dad, like, you're the worst loser I've ever met in our life. And, that was true. This business is highs and lows. It's seasons. And right now we're in a good season. And you're going to be in a good season, Esther. With the follow-up you're doing, baby cakes, you and your sweet mother are Esther's got a master's degree. You look at her interviews in Coffee Shop Interview, she is stepping into people's hearts. She's bulletproof. She asks for phone numbers. She asks for email addresses. She asks for blood type. She is gonna make it, because she's not gonna be stopped. That's you. That's you, Ashley. That's you, Caroline. That's you, Daniel. That's you, Jeremy. That's you, Hanny. That's you, Travis. That's you, Lorene. That's you, Debbie Wetzel. That's that simple. Bring it. I know you can do it. Adrian, unneglect yourself. Unmute, Adrian. What were you going to say? What is wrong with you?
I just, the whole speech about me never taking a dime from you. Now that I knew that you were holding out on 12 grand a year tax free, I'm feeling a little upset about this whole thing. So here's the deal. To the radio show today.
Yeah, the lady, and listen to that. You guys should listen to that. All of you with kids. Daniel Hodge, you can have your daughter mow the lawn, do all this stuff, and literally pay her $12,000 a year, and it's tax free. So instead of she's mowing the lawn anyway, you're giving her money anyway, But the money you're giving her when you're giving her $20 bills is taxable. Ashley, your little angel there, same deal. If she can do anything, vacuum. She can vacuum at the price that you hire somebody to vacuum. So just know that you've got that $12,000 write-off like that. And write them checks. It's deductible. And I don't know. Yeah, it's tax deduction for you and non-taxable for the kid. That's what she said. And believe me, I can't even spell tax or deductible, so I don't know that for a fact, but that's the way it sounded today. We'll check it. How many kids do you have, Ashley? I see like 40 of them. Unmute her. Good God, I've never seen more kids. Is this a daycare or are you just 6 kids? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have 1 daughter and 5 sons.
You're kidding.
No.
Who's that one? What's this one's name? So that's George.
This is Merton.
Hi, Merton.
He's the baby.
He's the baby?
Yep, he's the baby.
He's very, very cute. Who's the one right
my
behind?
girl, my daughter back behind us. That's
What's her
Isabel.
name?
Isabel.
Isabel, you got a booger, so grab that. All right, you guys, love you. All right, so I love this. So anybody got any questions? Oh my God, Hanny, I am in love with you. So remember, Houston is awesome, but also remember on the Houston front that it's business. So if you're bringing people, I know that, is Ann Parker still on here? I know that, yeah, so let me just make sure people know it's business. So Denise is still madly looking for the car. Rocker Ice, you look beautiful. One of the coolest looking guys in the world. Driving your car looking like a movie star in the dark. Anybody else got any questions? What time is it? 4 minutes away from Misfit Tuesday night hamburgers. Just wish you were all coming. It's so fun. Anybody got anything else you want me to do?
I want to say something. Can I say something?
What? Who is it?
It's Marianne.
Okay, good. Talk.
No, just for a minute, because some people are asking about roommates in Houston, and so just text me if you guys need a roommate. I've got somebody, a male roommate.
I thought you were looking for a guy roommate.
Yeah. My room is full, so I've got my ladies, but so yeah, so I have a guy that just texted me today, and he's looking to see if anybody, a male roommate. So.
And how about the breakthrough on that? Caroline Powell had said she's not coming, and all of a sudden she's turned that into a maybe, and that excites me. You know, when you start getting unstoppable and knocking down walls, you guys have all seen that Gift of Desperation video. I think Marianne, you should share it onto this wall if you can, or Pamela. She's a beast. The Gift of Desperation is everything. It's, you know, I have the evidence to quit drinking, but I didn't have the gift of desperation. I had the evidence to do multi-level marketing. I was unemployed, everybody else, but I needed the gift of desperation. I had the evidence to lose 55 pounds, but I didn't have the gift of desperation. And once I got the gift of desperation, it was all over. And I want you guys to have that gift of desperation. That doesn't mean you're desperate. It just means that all of a sudden it clicked for you, and nothing's going to stop you. You are going to knock down walls to do it. And that's that simple. Denise, you want to add anything? You want to practice your speech or anything?
No, but I just wanted to, because like what I was saying before about that season when I was broke, the thing that I had to remember was I may have been broke, but I wasn't broken. And it's
good call.
Easy to slip into, you know, that victim and why me, but if you know in your heart of hearts that this too shall pass, then and everything is possible. And we all have those periods that, like Tom was talking about, we all have those. God, this dog, do you hear him squeaking? So anyway, you know, the great thing about this puppy is that it's like when you're just, he gives me so much joy and in remembering the little things in life. You know, he'll bark and play and have fun with chasing a leaf. And so that's really a really good, something to remember for me is just, you know, have fun and be light and compassionate to yourself.
Thank Thank you. Bring Michael Clarkson on.
Howdy, sir.
Got him?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so Michael used to listen. You guys don't know this, but I used to be somewhat of a big-time radio talk show host, Monday through Friday, every day for 3 hours throughout 89% of the state of Colorado on a show called Business for Breakfast, which was the greatest show in the world because it was just nothing but fun. And I looked down on the stock market like a football game. And I got to just bust everybody. I don't care if it was Kramer. I don't care if it was Donald Trump, Maria Bartiromo. All those people were on my show, Jordan Belfort, all those people. And I got to have a blast with them and just beat them to a pulp. And because it was the perfect job for me. And Michael was a listener. And how many years ago was that, Michael? Do you know?
God, it was about 2011, I think it was, or maybe even sooner than that.
Yeah,
no, 2008. It's been 10 years.
So it's been a decade.
Yeah.
But we never lost contact. And he had a company called Snow Coast Realty. He was a big-time realtor. He loved his mother. He had a girlfriend named Julie who he calls Snoopy or something like that. Snoopy something. And Schnooky. I have no idea what it's called. But anyway, I love the guy. And then he came into Youngevity. He kind of took a look at it and kind of took a swing at it, but he was really a realtor at heart. And then he got sick of being a realtor, and then he went out, schmoopy. And then he went out of there and decided to become a corporate America guy. And this guy has been through the ringer. Corporate America almost ripped his face off. He's finally getting free of it in about a week. Talk about your headspace and why it was so important that I didn't run you out when you weren't doing it, so you were welcomed when you came back. Talk about that, will you please, Michael? Because you guys all have people in your business that you ought to go re-interview because everybody's going into a different season. Pamela Schwartz, Harvard-educated, incredible woman, husband with a big job, was a detective and now at the TSA, big job. They never dreamt that they would go through a season called 45 days of no pay from the federal government. But all of a sudden, her eyes are wide open. She's got the gift of desperation because she realizes nothing is as permanent as you think it is. Michael, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing that's really easy to do is when you start feeling comfortable is to get lazy on other things. And one of the things that Tom was really good about is waiting. He's talked about leaving people where they want to be and picking them up when they want to move on. And Tom's been really good about that. The biggest challenges I had is 6 of the past 9 years I've been taking care. I'm an only child, an only grandchild, the whole 9 yards, and taking care sequentially of terminally ill parents. And so it interrupted my life a lot. And one of the things that was a challenge is with all of those things going on is I didn't make Youngevity a priority. Use the products, consume the products, love them. But the fact is that, when you're feeling like you're overwhelmed in other places, it's really easy to just lay back. And as Tom mentioned, I had a chance after my father passed away to get back into corporate, make some very nice money. But as I wrote Tom, I think it was about October timeframe, and I said, Tom, I can't put up with this stuff, for lack of a better term, and just basically said, you know what, I need to change my lot in life because corporate is corporate is corporate. And it would have been very easy for me to just kind of stick it out and just kind of get by. What I've decided to do is make a life change and realize that I can be helping people as opposed to just going through the machinations of corporate America. And Tom was really great about being just open and receptive and just his positivity is such an attractant. There was never any repulsion or any, Tom was never, harsh or rebuked me or anything like that to, say, well, if you can't, make it in Youngevity, then screw you or anything like that. It was always very much, hey, whenever you're ready and whatever you need at that time, you let me know. And I've made a commitment, like Tom said, February 8th, I'm done with this job. I turned in my notice. They've extended me a couple of times. And then I'm leaning into Youngevity because I really realize when I look at some of my peers from the time when I first came in, I saw how much success I've had by being diligent and by being thoughtful and putting their heart in the right place. And I realized, I think after having a chance to be selfish a little bit, I've really realized that kind of putting my heart out there and giving to others is really where my calling is, rather than being a part of the corporate machine. And so for me, Tom's been really gracious, and Denise have been really gracious about bringing me back, allowing me to come back and pick up right where I left off previously and starting to make some things happen going forward. And so I would say it's that positivity and just that genuine concern for others that has always kept me in touch with Tom. And, as Tom and I shared a while back, one of the things for me with the product that was such a profound statement was when my mom was close to her end, she wasn't taking any nutrition. And I actually had taken some of the BTT and made ice chips out of it for her in her last few days. And she came roaring back and was regaling us with all sorts of stories. She was with the Beatles. She saw the Beatles at the Ed Sullivan Show, kind of a long story. But she was regaling many people in the hospice. People were, she'd start telling the story, and then more people would arrive. She'd have to retell the story, more people arrived, and next thing you know, there's about 50 people, 50 nurses in attendance standing around listening to her tell the story about how she saw the Beatles live on Ed Sullivan. And it was one of the greatest memories that she had. And it's because of the longevity product specifically. But the thing that's brought me back to the business is the fact that the quality of life that the business brings. And having quality people like Tom and Denise there to welcome me back, sort of like the prodigal son, whenever I'm able to come back, I'm always welcome back with open arms. Oops, John,
I unmuted. Can you hear me? There's a meeting tonight down in Littleton at the Coble Library that you might want to divert to, Michael. So I'm going to send you the info on that right now. Chris Ebersberg's doing the first one with a leadership group. We're going to start really blowing that out. So okay. You might want to go to that and say he was just leaving his house to drive 2 hours to come to the meeting tonight. Can you believe that? That's the gift of desperation. So, yeah, crazy stuff. He's an awesome man who I love.
Thanks.
Anybody else got anything? All right, I'll save Kim for next week. Hopefully all these people that I'm talking about, Dylan, call me. Hopefully these people next week are going to be in my business. Because I am telling, and I don't sell any wine before it's time, but every conversation, I don't waste words. I mean, you guys have called me on the phone. I am not a chit-chatter unless I'm talking to Lanny Sharp and I want to hear about Oakley, Kansas. But at the end of the day, every word that comes out of my mouth is trying to figure out a way to have a touch for a follow-up down the road. So I should have said this when I had Emilio on the phone, because he was telling me a story about his life. And then I moved that story to his life, and I put my dream into his life. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Michael Burnoff before, but he teaches you about future casting. So what you say to people is, okay, remember today, February 29th, 2019. It's a great day. You guys just watch this video. Now, next month, on March 1st, 2019, you're going to be really going down the road because you jump back into 65 days and a wake up. You started interviewing 2 people a day and 3-way and 1. It's your second trip through it, but now you know how to do it, and you're really going to use the contact mapping app on the follow-up. And all of a sudden, you're going to kill it. And then a year from now, on February 29th of 2020, you're going to look back on this day and you're going to say, my gosh, look at what a change that just happened to me over the last 12 months. And what you're doing is you're taking people today, you're putting them in today, you're moving them out a month, you show them what they have to do. That's the homework I just gave that kid. You bring it back to today, then you take it out a year for their big goal, you visualize their goal back there, and then you bring it back today and tell them what they have to do. So you heard me say to Emilio a few minutes ago, I'm going to give you some more homework. That's part of that future casting that I do. I just bring people back and forth like that to try to get them to see where they're going. Because if I try to go out to Ruth Ellen Sanchez's house, I guarantee you she's paying attention to something else. That's why I did that. And so if I'm going to go out to her house, man, I got to know where she lives. I can't just start driving. I'll never get there. It's the same thing as 5-star and Ambassador. If you don't know how to get there, you're not going. If you can't visualize yourself there, you're not going. The reason I'm really excited about going down to Fort Lauderdale and having to the Florida Keys, I'm having dinner with Jeff Roberti. I'm having dinner with Harris Williams, with Jeff Weisberg on February 14th. So I'm also having dinner with the beautiful Denise Chenault. And that place is phenomenal. And those guys are all multimillionaires. We're going to have the most beautiful time. I can just see the restaurant we're having dinner at. I'm visualizing all that. I'm future casting it. Does that make sense? That's what I want you to do, Barassa. We got to get you out of New Hampshire. That's where all the Republicans live. No, I'm kidding you. And the Democrats. Marry somebody's cafe. I love you guys with all of my heart. I love you. I hope you know that. See ya.
Love you guys. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, Marianne.
Miss Good Hamburgers.
I want to see how